I keep telling y'all, AI is the opposite of whatever.
That the U.S. military was getting pretty obese.
Trump's inner circle showed me the
man trying to live forever was just diagnosed with an autoimmune.
Your world will end in a cataclysm.
Okay, you guys aren't going to believe this. A man was revving his motorcycle in his driveway somewhere in, I think, North Carolina was the comments. And it backfired, which sounds like a loud popping sound. Almost could sound like a shot being fired kind of sound. And 1 minute and 37 seconds later, a police officer showed up to tell him, we got a hit. We thought there was submachine action activity going on. And so they alerted the whole police force because they thought something was going down. Well, it turns out this is called spot shotter technology. And when I was in Florida, I'd heard the same thing. They have all these towers and sensors all over the place. So when they hear shots, they're immediately dispatched. But sometimes you hear a car backfiring and a dispatch. Now, some people were saying that the flock technology, because we're sheep, so we got to be herded like a flock of sheep, has this technology built into it also. The question is, though, at what point is there going to be enough surveillance cameras, audio receptors, facial recognition action, sensors, and devices and technology until we've reached the Rubicon here? Let me know if you think all this tech is great or if something else might be going on here to make a digital control system.
I think till they start putting the cameras in the bathrooms, they're going to keep putting as many cameras out as they can. They literally want to know every aspect of you, inside and out. Okay. And then I'm like, how are all these mass casualty events happening if we have all this tech that's supposed to like alert the authorities to respond? No, they're all thinking they're like motorcycle backfires. No, that's not a thing. They literally implementing whatever they want. There's no increase in crime that we need the cameras for. The cameras that are in place for the surveillance. And if you haven't woken up to that, well, looks like this channel isn't for you. Oh boy.
Tedi Ganja crew, triple cheese. Hey. Woo. Yeah, let's go to the mountain. Yeah.
Why is nobody talking about churches missing this? Demons. How many of these churches are fighting demons? More importantly, how many of these churches are teaching you how to fight demons? I dealt with a python spirit. It was the easiest yet most complex spirit I had yet to deal with. You'll know you have a python spirit when it is in your head and you start to think thoughts that come true. What ifs, not like anxiety, but it'll kind of feel like anxiety because it starts to make you feel, well, anxious. And it doesn't stop. It keeps you from getting good sleep. It continues to give you dreams and thoughts that just start to double down. Fastest way to deal with these, don't eat and don't drink caffeine. Stick to water. Now, I live on caffeine. I know how it feels to not have caffeine. It sucks. But when I tell you that the python spirit is so afraid of Christ, he will see him in you when you go to take it on. If you would like to know about that story, I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. If you don't eat and don't drink caffeine, you'll be all right. The demon won't be.
Wait, so this guy's allowed to eat and drink caffeine, but you're not allowed to because you're a python? Bro, it sounds like you're the guy, bro, that's the python. You simmer down, dude. What are you, trying to be our new Ed and Lorraine Warren, and you're going to be like the new demonologist that does the exorcisms without the church's authorization? No, this isn't real. It is real, but never mind, reel it back. It is real, but like...
I keep telling y'all, AI is the opposite of what everybody thinks. Only thing y'all worried about is AI taking people's jobs. And it's way bigger than that, because I don't think you understand what happened. OpenAI just admitted that one of its AI hacking agents escaped the environment it was supposed to be in, got access to the internet, and hacked another AI company completely on its own. You heard what I just said? Mind you, this ain't the first time something like this happened. And this didn't happen because somebody told this AI to do it. This happened because that AI figured out a way to do it. This thing was being tested inside what was supposed to be a secure sandbox. And instead of staying there, this thing found a weakness, broke out, and started chaining together multiple cyber attacks until it reached another company's system. According to OpenAI, the AI exploited a 0-day vulnerability, escalated its own access, reached the open internet, and then started targeting Hugging Face while trying to solve the test it was given. Now, I'm saying that to say, what if AI decides to hack bank accounts? What if AI decides to leak into your personal life? What if AI decides to leak out your personal information? If today's AI could find vulnerabilities, what's going to happen with the AI 5 years from now? Go down a rabbit hole. Look at what happened with the AI model that Anthropic created, Mythos. and you come back and tell me that you trust AI, pay attention.
I trust AI. I'm sorry. But like this is probably something that they'll try to explain away. Yeah. AI escapes the container because the containers are never secured, and like you really need to have a good security around your container because hey, anything that's public facing can have this exposed and have these security vulnerabilities. Hey, keep your corporation security vulnerabilities low. Hey, come on now.
Now explain this. This lady sees the reflection of the sun on our car windshield. But as she explains that there's no one in her car to be doing this, she points to the sky and there's no sun. So are we actually seeing a real glitch in the Matrix? Check out this video and tell me, what do you think of all this?
See the sun in the, there ain't nobody in my car. That's the sun up in the sky. It's yellow out. There is no sun that you can see, but then somehow, that's crazy.
These are the same people that believe like, hey, on a cloudy day, I can't get sunburn. All right, you simmer down, dude. Just because you can't see the sun, they're still like, what is it called? Refraction? No. Or like, did you just not like pan your camera all the way up? Nah, there's no way. There's no way. Yeah, I feel like this is not a glitch. This can be perfectly explained. Like user, oh my God. But then again, everything I know is a lie. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, it doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. Even my toddler can be like, oh yeah, the sun right there. That's the reflection. Like, come on. Look, yeah, you definitely didn't pan all the way up. You're like, yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. It's way higher than you are.
All right, so this font may look a little weird to a lot of us, but that is actually intentional because this company just released something called a decoy font, and that is intended to trick AI. So if you squint, you're gonna see happy human, okay? Now, when AI actually goes to read this or scrape this, they're going to see sorry robot, okay? Therefore, tricking the AI into reading something completely different. Let's talk about it. So Mixed Font is the company behind this ingenious font, and basically they exploited the fact that AI cannot focus on things like the human optics can, okay? We can squint our eyes and read Daydream here, while when AI is reading this, the cold hard fact is, it says pay bills. That's it. Now, your next question probably is, what is this going to be used for? Is this just fun or is this actually going to be utilized? Well, artists may be actually able to use this to protect their art online or any sort of like anti-AI, countermeasures. This is going to be super, super helpful for this and anti-scraping when you want to protect something you put online. Now, for anybody thinking this is going to be an AI killer or that this is foolproof, absolutely not, okay? This may stop AI for a little bit. Obviously, this is just another step in the cat and mouse game with us and AI, but it is really, really cool. And I love that people are creating things like this. Just another perfect example of human ingenuity. I'd like to hear in the comments below what you guys think about this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Hey, I wish that's how AI worked, but like unfortunately it's been like an hour since you put this out and AI already figured out the font and it can decipher both messages. So I'm sorry. Now you wasted your time like telling us the things. But it's like a cool idea in aspect, but it's like, hey, the more we try to trick it, the more they're gonna find ways to not have it tricked, and then we'll have to come up with new ways. So it literally is cat and mouse, but at like what cost? And it's like, hey, there's multiple AI models. Maybe this one doesn't read it, but this other model can. And like, hey, we're gonna keep improving on various models. I don't think you fully understand, but like, you're close. Cat and mouse indeed, just like the flax. Oh boy.
In 1908, President Theodore Roosevelt noticed that the US military was getting pretty obese, lazy, and unfit, so he signed executive orders on military physical fitness requirements. Military officers were required to do things like walk 50 miles in 20 hours over 3 days and ride a horse 90 miles in 3 days. Roosevelt was very clear about why he signed these executive orders, saying in battle, time is essential and ground may have to be covered on the run. If these officers are not equal to the average physical strength of their companies, the men will be held back, resulting in unnecessary loss of life and probably defeat. These executive orders actually laid the foundation for today's standardized military fitness tests. As the battle between healthy and unhealthy continued in 20th century America, after Teddy Roosevelt was done being president in 1909, the next president, William Taft, removed the tests and drastically lowered the physical standards. But thanks to President John F. Kennedy, the executive orders were rediscovered and became part of his presidential physical fitness initiative in 1962. While JFK's program wasn't intended for the general public to do, word got out about it, and there was a brief nationwide 50-mile frenzy in the early 1960s called the Kennedy March, or the JFK 50, with everyone from Eagle Scout to even the president's brother, Robert F. Kennedy, completing that 50-mile walk in 20 hours. Today, we see the cycle of American history repeating itself once again. Every time Americans build a culture of strength and health, it eventually falls back into weakness and decline. But we're going to break the cycle this time so that we can create a future where health and strength isn't just a phase, but the foundation of American culture for centuries to come.
Yo, can we bring back the 50-mile test for the presidents just to see? Oh, God. Okay, we won't have you finish it in 20 hours, but like, hey, let's just see how long it takes. Oh, boy.
Trump's inner circle showed me the real UFO disclosure. The president has an imminent speech prepared, written and ready. What he'll explain about non-human life will make it all make sense. Now, there's a paywall on that article, and I didn't really want to read it anyway. So what I'll say is the only way where that's going to make sense is if you can explain to me how an alien got to our planet. Did it teleport here? If so, what was the energy source of its little teleportation device? Now, if he reveals any of these things, 0-point energy disclosure, for example, then we win. Boom, there it is.
I think we already won. I think we already know the things, and they're never going to openly tell you, and you're just going to have to always assume. Because, like, come on, bro. Like, how many more files of, like, videos of nothingness do you need in order to be like, yup, they were here the entire time. They were here the entire time. They didn't teleport here. I mean, maybe some of them. Maybe some of them came here on 3i Atlas or Oumuamua or one of those other crazy meteorite satellite spaceships that we can't explain.
That exploding diarrhea bacteria, that's what they have in like third world countries. I can't believe it's here. Oh, that bacteria has been here. It's everywhere. But we pay money out of our taxes to make sure that that bacteria and others like it are not in our water supply. But now they took out $1.1 trillion under Project 2025 and cut all of the jobs. So that's not being regulated anymore. This is going to be the first of many hazards. Wait, isn't there a guy that balances the budget to make sure that the president doesn't become a tyrant and start doing things like this to the American people? Yeah, but he thinks he works for the president, not us.
Who do you work for, Director?
President of the United States.
No, you work for the people of the United States. You take an oath to the people of this country.
His job was specifically made by Congress to make sure this type of thing doesn't happen to us anymore. Where is that $1 trillion going?
You're asking for $1.5 trillion, unlimited money for bombs, but insufficient money for the American people, for their health care, their food, their housing, and our farmers.
Wait, all of our money is going to Israel and to supply weapons for war. Yeah, get ready for another AIDS epidemic and maybe some plagues. All sorts of stuff. Yeah, the exploding diarrhea is just the first step.
Interesting. So where do we go from here? Like, all of a sudden, like, this is going to be forever? No, stop fear-mongering me, lady. Like, hey, I'm going to build that immunity and be the cockroach that'll make sure that I'll be able to survive, or in some way, shape, or form, my genetics will be passed and continue to thrive. Okay. Quite wild. Like, very, very interesting theory. Very well. Yeah, just because of that $1 trillion. That's monopoly money anyway. These are the reasons that we got to suffer, because like the people that were experts in this field all of a sudden are no longer experts and no longer doing the things because they don't have the jobs and no one's paying them. Makes sense. So we're just going to have to let all the things happen and like what? Just be like the strongest immune system in the world? Yeah, makes sense.
You guys are not going to believe this. President Donald Trump has directed federal agencies to waive non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, for former government employees and contractors with knowledge of unidentified anomalous phenomenons, UAP. This order allows witnesses to speak safely with all Domain Anomalies Resolution Office, ARROW, or the President's UAP Task Force, pursue key action detailed directives, waves of priority security, NDA, military and government whistleblowers, reporting channels and designated for including ARROW and for the UAP task force. This is pretty much extraordinary, guys. With everything that's going on in this directive, I think let's see what's going to happen. Hopefully there's a wave of whistleblowers that's going to come out and start discussing this phenomenon with people that are investigating this phenomenon, right? And hopefully that would be a change of segment, and that comes to come to public what has been found and what they can determine, right? If you've been here this far, you are disclosure.
Sounds like this guy paid the paywall and read the full article. Okay, buddy. Grats. And exactly what I thought. Nothing burger.
I met Mothman. What is Mothman? Giant insectoid, let's say. He seems to pop up at certain disasters. It was Katrina. It was a dark time for everyone. So much anger. I was doing rituals nonstop, which included some animal calls, and I was pleading for help of all dimensions. This night, I was asleep. Wake up. And I don't know where I am. I'm in some kind of shell, and I'm looking, and I go like that. And I look at my hand, and I've got like this silvery dust kind of all over my finger. Then I feel something reach down and kiss my forehead, and then opens the covering, which was the big giant wing, and which made this gigantic shadow in my room of what looked like archangel wings, and out the room. And I thought, oh, is that an angel? What was that? And I was telling this girl I was working with the next day, she said, well, that sounds more like a moth. And I was like, okay, but I never still had heard of Mothman, but he was in response to call from a disaster, which is what Mothman has done before.
Wait, but like you were the one that were doing the rituals and then he showed up for you. So like, why didn't you alert the people about the disaster's coming? You could have prevented Katrina, it sounded like. Come on now, lady. Use your powers for good.
The man trying to live forever was just diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, but his response is to build a garden. This is just part of the story. He's now spent millions of dollars testing for heavy metals, glyphosate, and sourcing lab quality ingredients, yet for some reason, people celebrate him getting sick. Brian Johnson has dedicated his life to a polarizing mission of not dying. And while it's completely fair that many disagree with him on not eating red meat, avoiding the sun, and over-the-top longevity protocols, it is undeniable he has come a long way from a childhood he described as eating sugar cereal, drinking sugary soda, and gobbling down fast food. If you look at the transformation he's made, his new diagnosis is not a failure of his protocols, and anyone using it as an opportunity to dunk on him completely misses the point. This diagnosis is exactly what he's been warning about the entire time: a broken food system filled with ultra-processed foods, an unregulated supplement industry, and the issues with reactive medicine. And while some of what he's done in the past, like his plasma transfusion with his son, raises eyebrows, his reaction to this diagnosis is wanting to grow his own vegetable garden that emphasizes soil health. He's recruiting experts in soil chemistry, toxin testing, and data monitoring to help him optimize the nutrient density of his daily diet. This makes so much sense because having your own land and growing your own food is the final evolution of health. And while not everyone is in a financial position to be able to be self-sufficient, the best we can do is support our local producers and get as close to this as possible, which you can do using the localized farmers market app.
Yo, that is crazy. I learned about this, I think, a few weeks back when the news first came out, and it looks like he's now doubling down on this garden that he's growing, and that's going to be the solution for his gastritis, which is unfortunate that he has this. But I'm also in the mindset of like the person that's going to achieve infinite life may already be in our timeline. And it could be him. Maybe he gets through gastritis, but I feel like, hey, he feels I don't know, a little scammy to me, especially like once the longevity drink mix came out and he's been like pushing that like anything. His Blueprint IV mix, you can get that cheaper from like any other vendor. He's not the first one to come up with the longevity mix, but do your research, understand the type of resources that he has access to that you may not. Make the best use of your timeline. Don't go chasing the dragon. It ain't worth it because hey, something inevitable could happen, and then what? Now you stop buying his stuff. You know, his goal still seems sincere. Let's see what happens. I'm not trying to dunk on him.
Are junkyards quietly being phased out? And why do I say that? Because a woman and her husband went to a junkyard in Pennsylvania to pick up an engine for his truck. And what the workers inside told the husband had the wife asking a lot of questions. Have a listen to this for yourself. Listen.
Okay, so do you guys remember a couple months ago seeing those videos about junkyards, salvage yards magically catching on fire, kind of like everywhere across the U.S.? Well, I am at a salvage yard in PA right now because my husband needed a motor for his 2006 Chevy Silverado. And he was talking with the guys inside, and he came out and he's like, listen, he's like, because we're getting a really good price on this motor, by the way. He said, the guy at the salvage yard, said that the government has told them that they need to get rid of all of the motors that are 15 years old. And if any new ones come in, instead of pulling them, they need to crush them.
So you heard what she just said, that the government is allegedly cracking down on junkyards and salvage yards. And they need to allegedly get rid of all motors that are 15 years old. And if any new ones come in, they need to have them crushed. Once again, I'm using the term allegedly because I made some phone calls in my area asking salvage yards or junkyards if they had any instructions to get rid of anything. They told me they had no clue what I was talking about. And I also visited a lot of government websites, and I didn't see anything at all. But if this allegedly is true, then it would fall in line with all of the brand new tech that's scheduled to come out in the year 2027 and beyond. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think now it's evident, you know, starting 2026, 2027, they are putting that AI recognition or facial recognition into the cabin, if you will, the car cabin. I know it's not the same like an airplane, but like I always wished my car was an airplane, that I would be, you know, around this time would have flying car tech, but obviously not in a way that it would be affordable.
Yeah, you might think it's just an innocent little speed reader, right? Oh, look at this. Volusia Sheriff's own this one. Gets my speed. I might even be able to get 5 miles an hour out of it from running. But what lurks on the back of it? Not there, but right there. Look at that. Someone did some custom metal fabricating and decided to put a flop camera, a mobile one, anywhere they want to put it in the speed reader. It's probably getting a picture of my wiener right now. However, look at that. Right on the board. You're safe. The sheriff. Partially on the sidewalk. There's the number. And it is working. I mean, you can see when you cover the light up a little bit. This thing is working. Working well. Solar-powered mobile command ALPR on demand anywhere you want it. Right there.
Yeah, and it's very scary to know. But at the same time, are they making any actionable items on this, or are they just keeping track and like oh yeah, that Amber Alert car just passed by this speed point? You know, is it being used for good, or is it being used for nefarious reasons?
Have you seen these alien-looking mummies that are supposedly being dug up from the ground in Peru?
The little dudes that are like this big?
Well, there are some that are full size, like 5'5" people now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's I think there's 7 of these mummies that are being brought out, and they're tridactyl, so they've got these. Yeah. They've got 3 fingers.
Wait, that's it? That's all you tell us? They have 3 fingers? Didn't E.T. also have 3 fingers? Did we find the real life E.T. of our timeline? It knew it wasn't a movie. It had to be based off a real-life alien that they found. Was it the aliens of the Roswell incident? Tell me the things. Okay. Well,
Wayne really on them aliens. He said that your world will end in a cataclysm, and some people will make it. A lot of people will, and they'll have to live within the planet. Basically, go like ants.
Yeah.
And that civilization, that time will last so long that we'll adapt to living there.
Right.
And just like we adapt to everything else, we're going to start adapting to being an insect, and just like an insect. And we're devoid of light. That's why aliens' eyes are so big. Because they don't, whatever they came from, there's no light, and the atmosphere is so dense. That's why they don't grow. That's why they don't grow too tall, because the atmosphere don't allow them to. They don't eat the same food. That's why they don't get so big like that.
How do you know all this information? Where's you just like YouTube videos and whatnot?
No, I don't do YouTube.
How do you find this stuff? You got a guy on the inside?
No.
he is the guy on the inside doing the thing since Young Money, since YMCMB. He knew all the things. Oh my God, the people he has touched, the people he has seen, the people he has... Sorry.
A cop playing Fortnite gets an in-game message from a missing 15-year-old, but what happens next will shock.
You're not gonna need a part 2. Gary was a police officer from New York who was a cop for 3 years. One day while Gary was working, he got a call from parents who seemed very concerned. They told Gary that their 15-year-old son went missing, so he decided to take the case himself and went to their house. Gary went into their son's room to take a look around, and he noticed that his phone was missing, but his laptop was still there. When he opened the laptop, the game Fortnite was left open along with the messaging app called Discord. Gary saw what the kid's username was from looking at his Discord on his computer, so Gary took out his phone and sent the kid a friend request. After just a few minutes, the kid accepted Gary's friend request on Discord. Gary messaged with the boy and convinced him to come back home safely. Follow me to end part 2s.
All right. Yeah, it sounds like the problem solved itself. And also, shout out to Discord. And also, shout out to you for not being on Discord and join the Discord. I'm looking at you, Ni Hao. I'm looking at you with my eyes wide open. How are your eyes? I'm sorry.
The inside of your skull was the last place anyone could reach, but it just went on the market. Consumer brain reading headsets are on shelves right now. These include meditation bands, focus trackers, sleep gadgets, and they all read your neural activity straight off your scalp. A neural rights watchdog looked at 30 of these companies. 29 of them can access your brain data, and almost all of them reserve the right to share it or sell it. In most states, there's no law stopping them, but Colorado and California passed the first ones recently. Everywhere else, your brain data activity is just another dataset with a price tag. Companies spent 20 years learning to sell your clicks, but your brainwaves were always the end game. If you want to stay updated on more dystopian tech news, then sign up for my free newsletter through the link in my bio. But as always, think about it, let me know what you think, and follow me.
I mean, yeah, I can vibe with that. I feel like it's something that can be measured. Anything that can be measured or collected will be sold. And that's exactly what they're doing. And I can see this being used in different ways, even like with the meta glasses. So like, wouldn't that be able to read if they put the right sensors in there as well? And there's all those like vagus nerve stimulators that they're selling now. So it's like, and now there's even like 6G. And if we think that we're the antennas, so like obviously 6G gives them the ability to read everything. Okay.
Here are some of the scariest photos I've seen on Reddit today. First, we have a picture of Hell's Bridge coming from Algoma Township, Michigan. And this is where, allegedly in the 1800s, a man who was tasked with babysitting some children ended their life. And because of that, he was hanged from this bridge. So in the first photo, you can see Hell's Bridge itself. Next photo, you'll see a rope that came up out of the water when they were taking pictures. And finally, a very ominous picture from inside of the woods where it appears many eyes are staring back at our original poster. Next, we have some haunted dolls that allegedly move on their own. and the only thing that calms them down is a Bible verse. And I gotta say, these are some of the creepiest dolls I think I have ever seen. And finally, we have a picture somebody took of their granddaughter that happens to have something absolutely terrifying in the background. What the heck is that? Our original poster says this photo still gives them the creeps, and I totally agree. Like, this is super freaking creepy.
Yo, that is creepy. That felt like Sally from like the other side or something. Wait, where is that picture? No, not this one. Lady, what? You only showed the picture for like 1 hot second? That's it? Yeah, like this lady right here. Like, that looks like a young child, you know? Yeah, maybe this is a glitch. Maybe you like caught a multidimensional being or someone from the other side bleeding through. But it doesn't seem like a nefarious thing. I'm not getting any nefarious. And also the camera does like seems like an old school Samsung. A Samsung can be used to capture the ghosts. That's wild. The dolls were creepy. Wait, where are the dolls? Why is it so hard to find your pictures? You gotta keep the pictures up way longer. Oh yeah, the eyes that stared back. That was weird. Why'd those eyes stare back? Lady, where did you show the dolls, man? I want to see the dolls. Man, and we were talking about Annabelle. I'm like, yo, maybe we make a new movie based off of these dolls and come up with the entire universe based around it. And then we become our own Conjuring universe, call it a Gooniverse, and then we do all the Goon things. And then it'd be an amazing... Sorry. Videos on the screen right now. Click on either one of them to continue that Goon fix. The one in the middle, you can subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Goodbye. Everything feels out. Goodbye.
Wake up, wake up.